I was so ready. I was literally like, yeah. And I said, yes, okay, what do I need to do? And she kept selling. And she kept talking. And at some point, because of what I do, not everyone would do this. At some point I said, stop selling, I'm already sold. Welcome to the Sold Out Sales Podcast, the podcast that will equip both the seasoned sales professional and the more reluctant seller with mindset shifts and strategies needed to succeed in a competitive marketplace. Welcome back to the Sold Out Sales Podcast, and I wanted to share with you all this topic that is absolutely going to be gold. Look, put me on pause, go grab something to write with, grab your phone, because you're absolutely going to want to take notes on this one. I'm going to do a rapid fire, but we're talking about the master key to double your sales conversion, and it's not as hard as you might think it's going to be. These are things that I'm seeing on a daily basis that if we can make these slight improvements, it changes everything. So go grab something, come back, and let's talk about this. So I'm going to ask you a question. Is this you? Are you a successful business owner? And success, I know, is relative, but are you a successful business owner who's, one of the best in your industry? You know your things, you know your stuff, but sales just is not your favorite thing. So this is for you if you're that person. This is something to help you to sell without sleaze, right? To have processes that make things a whole lot easier and to use tools to make sales consistency like golden for you to happen in your business all the time. So let's talk about the first thing is connection. And you might be thinking connection, hey, I'm at networking events. I'm always connecting. It's like what I do. But I want you to think about this. How are you connecting? And are you on some level like hollering into a hollow space? If you're connecting well, then people should be talking back to you. So if you're on social media and you're talking and no one is responding to any of your messages, I'm not saying that nobody's looking at it, but you might be missing the secret sauce that really cause people to click on your DMs and say, hey, tell me more about that. How do I get in on that? Tell me how much that costs or whatever. If you're in a room and you're connecting well, someone should lean in and go, oh my God, tell me more, right? I want to know how do I get in on this? And if you're connecting with someone and they're going, oh, it was nice to meet you, and they run, then you might want to rethink your connection strategy. So think about it from that perspective. And I'm going to ask Taylor, our producer in the room, because she understands this probably amongst the best of them. How do you feel about connection, and where do you think people are missing connection as it pertains to the way that they're hanging out on social or in rooms?
Well, on social, I feel like people are, like how you said, just kind of yelling at each other. If I ever open a DM on LinkedIn and I don't see the entire message in that scroll because you sent me an entire book, I know you're actually not making a connection. Yeah. You're just making a sale.
Yeah.
So that's for one. And then in person, pay attention to body language. You can see the people who are just like literally having their feet turned already to not talk to you and just, let them be then, and then carry on to someone whom you can actually have a deep connection with.
Absolutely. I will say something it wasn't intentional. This was not like a strategy for me, but I tend to, because I'm a little introverted. I know I don't come off that way, but because I'm an introvert, I can easily identify someone who's probably in that room going, how long do I have to stay here? So in an effort to help them feel a little more comfortable, I normally would go hang out with the person that's sitting at a table by themselves or standing in a corner by themselves, just because they're probably like, I do not want to go walk up to a stranger, and not going up to them and saying, hey, let me tell you about myself, but really just talking. And the thing that most people miss in the connection is just getting to know someone. Don't go with your pitch, go with your heart.
And maybe start with a compliment. Like, I love those shoes.
Exactly.
I love that. And then you're just talking about something just so casual and really building a connection. And then it can progress from there.
It will progress from there. It's like slow down and trust that you're enough. And you know what? It's funny. That may seem a little deep to some people, but we sometimes get so, concerned about the rejection of it that we're like, I got to sell it right now, because if I don't say it all, they're not going to want to do business with me. Slow down. Trust that you are enough, that people are going to want to hang out with you, period, because of who you are. The sales will come later. They absolutely will. Okay, the next thing that I want to make sure that you hear, I want you to go with me on this. I don't want to offend anybody, but you have to be captivating. And what I mean by that is sometimes our content is just boring. It's just boring and people are not enticed by it. They're not looking at it. We're not stopping the scroll. And I don't mean only online. I also mean in a room. And so we have to be able to captivate with expertise and authenticity. I always say, I don't want to sound like all of the other people who are walking around in the room. I don't want to sound like all of the other sales experts who are on Instagram or on LinkedIn. I've got to find a way to captivate to ensure that people see what I say, right? Not only hear it, but they see what I say, and they want to learn more about it. They want to understand, how can this work for my business? So being captivating is number 2 in making sure that you're able to have better sales conversion, believe it or not. The next thing I want you to know is the importance of you becoming an audacious expert. And what I mean by that is you got to do your homework. If we're not spending time improving our craft, mastering our craft, and we are walking into rooms, whether we're doing sales, whether we're doing presentations, whatever we're doing, we're now almost being left behind. We're irrelevant at this point. And so being an audacious expert and being what I call respectively disruptive, that's one of the few ways that people remember what you've said, remember who you are, and when you reach back out to them, they're actually willing to have the sales conversation. I'm going to continue this conversation because there's so many other parts to it, but I want you to know that first and foremost, you got to understand about connection. You have to understand what it means to be a great connector. You have to understand what it means to captivate the audience, whether it's online or in person. And then the next thing we're going to talk about in more depth is what it means to become the audacious expert, to be the person that is the go-to. You want to be sought out. You want to be the person that people are saying, I need such and such. I need to call you, right? Your name, fill in the blank. And I want you to continue with me on this journey, because at the end of this time, I know that you'll be able to have more conversion. And what I mean by more, I mean consistent conversion. That's what you're looking for. Have you ever gone to a networking event or a conference and found that although you made great connections and you walked away with a stack full of business cards, you still didn't have a real plan for how to get a good return on your investment of both time and money? Well, let me tell you, having a networking and sales planner is a way for you to be more intentional about the way that you network.
Hey, I'm Susan Gladstein. I'm a functional nutrition and metabolism specialist, and I got connected with Tish because she is a rock star at systems and sales, and so I downloaded the planner to help get my brain organized as I went through a rebrand and launched a new course, and it's really helped me sort of get things out of my head and onto paper so that I can actually do follow-ups and not just rely on my brain. So far it's rocking my world and making my business systems that were non-existent actually have some sort of structure. So I love it. It's amazing. And I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed.
I've been working with sales professionals for almost 15 years. And one of the things that I find is that when they don't have a plan, they do nothing. They sit at their desk and wonder what to do. Well, with this networking and sales planner, you have profit producing activities for every single day of the week. It tells you where to go, what to say, even gives you prompts as to how to interact with people that you don't know. If you're an introvert and you feel like this isn't for you, I have already thought of you because I understand exactly how introverts think. So this gives you the tools enabling you to be armed with words, with language, so that you can make your networking more profitable.
Hey everyone, Rachel Neighbors here from solo401k.com. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about how awesome this sales networking planner is that Tish put out. So as you can see, I have it on my Remarkable. That's my sort of e-ink planner. And this sales planner has been so helpful for me. So I'm an old school pay-per-click marketer. I do Google ads, Facebook ads, and I know how to turn advertising into profit. But I didn't know how to turn network sales into profit. And when I met Tish, this woman literally wrote the book on networking called, Networking is Not a One-Night Stand. And she's put that experience and that energy and those valuable tips into this networking sales planner. And I just think that it can be so powerful for you in your business. I know it's been really helpful for me and mine. One thing that Tish told me is, Rachel, when you meet someone, put them into your planner and then follow up with them like they're a lead that you've generated on Google Ads or that you followed up with or that you've generated on Facebook. And that has been so helpful and transformative in my business. So thank you, Tish, for this awesome planner.
Maybe you don't even like networking. You say things like, networking doesn't work. Well, let me tell you, when you have a plan in place, you have some intention, and you have the tools to be able to make it work, you will see a different result. My new networking and sales planner is a game changer. It's the difference between you going to an event, wandering around and walking away without any purpose and without any new money, and walking into an event with a plan, with a purpose, and being able to convert new clients into your business. No one wants to feel inauthentic and pushy or even salesy when following up. So frequently we just don't do it at all. Well, the profitable follow-up formula, which is in the back of your networking and sales planner, will give you the tools and the language and the frequency with which you should be following up so that it feels very authentic. It feels genuine and natural both to you and to the people that you're reaching out to. Go to tishtimes.com/planner to get your digital or physical version of your planner.
Hi, my name is Cheryl James from CL James Consulting, and I just want to tell you a little bit about how awesome this networking sales planner is. I started intentionally networking at the beginning of this year, and I have been using my planner on a regular basis, not only to get inspiration, but to track the people I want to meet and the people I have met, and to make sure that I follow up with them from week to week. So if you are looking to network intentionally and hold yourself accountable, this planner is a must-have.
And once you get your planner, you'll also receive a video series that's going to teach you how to maximize your networking and how to use this planner to get the best result and best return on your investment of both time and money. If you are ready to stop wasting time with networking and turn your networking into a sales machine, then go to tishtimes.com/planner and grab your networking and sales planner. So becoming the audacious expert means that you are your perfect person's best ambassador, right? You are their biggest advocate. You become obsessed with their success so that when you interact with them, they recognize, they can see that you are the person who's the one who can help them to solve their problem. So becoming the audacious expert is going to require you to study your clients probably in ways you've not done before. And in this day and age, there's really no excuse. So now we can use our AI, platforms. We can actually have more conversations. Something that I love to tell my clients to do is to use your Zoom conversations. You've heard me talk about this before. Use your Zoom conversations as a classroom. Get into it. Listen to what people are saying. So after you've had the conversation, go back and listen to it again and pull out all of the gems, all of the things that they're telling you about already, because I promise you there is gold in those conversations. And then the next time you have a conversation, whether it's with that same person or with the next person, you're in a better position to be able to solve their problem because you understand it better than anyone else. All right, the next thing that will help you to double your sales conversion is to convert effortlessly, right? We're talking about sales conversion, but what I find is that we have sales conversations that don't end up in asking for the sale. Most people have a difficult time asking for the sale. And I know you, Taylor, I know that's not your issue, but I'm sure that you, as you're building your team and seeing people, having more conversations around you, have you heard where someone is like right there and you're just like, you got it, and then they take a left turn and miss the sale?
It's because everyone's so afraid of feeling pushy or things like that. And it's just that education of like, you're about to solve a solution for someone, solve the solution. But yeah, so many times people will talk themselves off the ledge, or they don't do the pause.
Yeah.
They just keep talking. And then out of nowhere, they are discounting, even though they didn't even need to discount.
Yeah. And that's an issue with us, right? I feel like when I am dealing with my own insecurities, I'm dealing with my own self-confidence, I talk myself out of the sale. And so instead of converting, I prolong what could have been a conversion.
Yeah.
I tell this story sometimes about this person who was selling me a product. I'll just say a product because it's a very particular product. They'll know who I'm talking about if I mention it. But they were selling me a product. We were at a lunch conversation, having a lunch meeting. And I'll never forget being ready. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I was looking for. I was so ready. I was literally like, yeah. And I said, yes, okay, what do I need to do? And she kept selling. And she kept talking. And at some point, because of what I do, not everyone would do this. At some point I said, stop selling, I'm already sold. And I had to stop her because she was going on. And the average person probably would have walked away thinking, okay, well, I guess I got to wait until maybe there's something that she has to do for me to be able to buy this thing. And we find ourselves saying, okay, well, I'll send you the proposal. I'll send you over. And I'm like, stop doing that. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. And this is all we're going to have time for today. But this is so important. Instead of sending proposals, would you change your process to have a conversion meeting or an enrollment meeting so that you can walk people through that process together? Give them the opportunity to sign digitally, so that you're not sending off proposals and then you're chasing them down for weeks and months at a time, hoping that they get back to you, whereas they were actually ready and now they've gotten busy, right? It's not even that they don't want to buy from you. It's just that you're not a priority right that moment. And because we've sent it off and we've extended the process, now we're calling people over and over. Hey, Bob, did you get that proposal? Hey, I'm just checking in to see if you got that proposal. Whereas if we would be willing to take the time up front to walk them through it, we would convert more people in our sales conversations than we ever would by doing things the way we've probably always done them.
Right. Because we also make a lot of decisions emotionally. And so if you're emotionally hyping people up and then you don't close.
Yes, then you miss it, right? You miss it. And I would dare say, bring the value more than the emotion. But at the same time, if someone is ready in that moment, don't miss the opportunity. Because the problem is for most sales professionals is that they are so convinced that that person is going to do business with them. They just say, oh, they'll send it back. I'm positive. And they put it on their books already thinking certainly they've gotten this sale, only to be disappointed. Type it in the comments if this has ever happened to you, because I know it's happened to most of us. And so shift the way that you're having your sales conversations, add an engagement or an enrollment meeting to your process, and let me know how that works for you, because it's amazing how many more people will buy in the moment because they're ready, opposed to sending them off into this deep dive contract that you have that they probably don't understand. And now they begin to second guess if they even want to get involved with you. So take the time up front, spend the time with the person and have a true enrollment meeting with them so that they not only understand what they're getting into, they're ready to get into it. And then the next meeting you have is their, what I call their jumpstart call, where you're actually starting to do work with them. I hope that was helpful. We'll definitely talk more about conversion because I think it's something that each and every one of us in business need to master, need to understand, and I want to make sure I give you the tools to do that. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Sold Out Sales Podcast. I would be so appreciative if you would show me and my amazing guests some love by leaving a review on your favorite podcasting platform. Also, go over to tishtimes.com/resource page and make sure you pick up your sales and networking handbook, especially for introverts. Also, I'd love to continue this conversation, so make sure you connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'll see you back here next week.